Towards Energy Democracy, a vision statement, adopted at Bijli Vikalp Sangam at Bodh Gaya, Bihar, March 2016. A large group of civil society organizations, including experts, energy practitioners, think tanks, people's movements, academics, and entrepreneurs, came together as part of Bijli Vikalp Sangam in Bodh Gaya between the 4th and the 6th of March 2016. We reflected upon and explored sustainable, equitable practices on energy with a focus on electricity. This was aimed at building a continuing critical dialogue with the state and other stakeholders in order to build a just and equitable energy future. There are several serious social, environmental, technical, and economic issues with implications for future generations if the business as usual approach continues. We acknowledge that future energy scenarios must factor in realities such as limited natural resources, accelerated environmental degradation, growing population, climate change, and high energy poverty. Roughly 2/3 of India's populations do not enjoy energy security. About 1/4 of India's population has no access to any source of electricity, despite a massive increase of more than 200 times in power generation capacity since independence. Many of those with access suffer from erratic supply. The fact that Delhi's per capita electricity consumption is more than 10 times that of Bihar is representative of the inequity in consumption in the country. Our continuing reliance on large, centralized power generation through conventional sources will continue to exacerbate climate change impacts, displacement, biodiversity loss, water stress, destruction of forests, and pollution of air, land, water, and sea. This commodification of our commons will further compromise our energy security and undermine the universal right to energy, including electricity. There is increasing evidence that nuclear power is neither clean, affordable, nor safe. Coal power is not only dirty, but also adds greatly to our carbon footprint. And large hydro is massively destructive. Therefore, none of these can be long-term solutions for our country. The government, in its recent policies, has announced fairly ambitious targets for renewable energy, although much of it is centralized and corporate controlled. However, there are worrying indications of significantly expanding coal, nuclear, and large hydro. While the grid is a reality of present-day electricity access, a far more democratic and decentralized governance of the grid becomes an imperative. Unlimited growth and consumerist culture is incompatible with a finite world. We call for an urgent paradigm shift from the currently dominant model of consumption-led development to creating frameworks of human and ecological well-being. This transition should be defined by the principles of sustainability, equity, and justice. This requires special attention to the needs of the most marginalized, including women, Dalits, Adivasis, small and marginalized farmers, and particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Therefore, with respect to the electricity sector, we call for action on policies and practices to mainstream and prioritize renewable energy to meet all future electricity needs. This should include decentralized solutions, including microgrids, standalone systems, etc. According to a UN report, this will also help in creating more green jobs than in the conventional sector. Direct investments towards the above objectives are important. Secondly, focus on ensuring sustainable, universal access to electricity, which is affordable. This will require a redistribution of available electricity equitably to facilitate a good quality of life. Thirdly, build a consensus for a new energy paradigm driven by social and individual responsibility to limit our energy consumption and make lifestyle changes that are consistent with shrinking planetary resources. Fourthly, ensure that the new imperatives are integrated into all appropriate educational and skill development activities. Fifthly, improve efficiency of existing electricity infrastructure to match global best standards. Number 6, prioritize demand-side management and energy conservation, particularly of large energy-guzzling sectors. 7, develop a time-bound transition plan to phase out coal and nuclear while ensuring that displaced workers are appropriately reskilled and re-employed. No construction of large new hydro plants. True costs of renewables and energy efficiency is much lower when compared to the total cost, including social and environmental costs of nuclear, coal, and large hydro. Make cumulative sectoral, social, and environmental impact assessment compulsory for all power projects, including renewables. Number 8, technological and innovative transitions will be necessary across all sectors. These must take place through fair and equitable processes that avoid lock-in. Though technology will play a role, solutions for society should not be technocentric only. Number 9, implement comprehensive cost-benefit and options analysis, including externalities, for any power-related decision-making. And finally, mandate free, prior, and informed consent of all concerned communities before initiating any power project. The search for solutions should be guided by principles of direct, radical, and ecological democracy, in which citizens, including the marginalized, are involved in decision-making. This also requires providing mechanism and spaces for such direct citizens' involvement. We resolve to take this message to a nationwide audience. This group looks forward to constructive engagement with the decision-making process of public policy.